Weaver Ezreal on red side.
All right.
Which are often bans that
Game
we see,
3
reserved for the blue
for
side.
DRX.
And speaking of blue, that's where
versus
DRX are going to
GEN.G.
reside now. So far, blue side has won every game, and Camille
Hello.
has won every game. So,
Oh god.
whether
Alright.
that means Camille will receive
we cover
a
that,
little bit more priority in
Actually,
this
not sure who this
draft
player is.
is yet to be known,
cover his
as
mouth.
DRX taking their
Alright, so what's the
time
first ban?
with this first ban will be the Callista.
Kalista, and then
Bard
they
is
immediately
just
ban
now.
Bard.
He's
Okay.
a perma ban.
Fair.
I'm
Oh yeah, your boy.
I'm a fan of it. The Bard analyst here is a big fan of that. He just offers too much now, and I think a lot of teams are recognizing it. And
I think Bard is
taking him
very, very,
away,
very strong.
we're not
Kalista
boring tank
is
meta
worth the ban.
anymore, even though we kind of were in that
I think
second
because
game. Pantheon here as well,
of
they're really
her
trying to focus
immense priority as well as
onto the bot lane of Gen.G,
her pressure.
take away
Oh,
all of
and you may
those
not necessarily
potential
want to have to
games
first
that are
pick
very scary. Will
Kalista.
we see,
You might
know,
wanna
remember
first pick something
Galio
else.
was banned, remember all the scary stuff that we did see.
Volibear,
Last one.
that's a
Yeah,
little
I mean,
less worth.
Twisted Fate. I mean, are they gonna
Pantheon,
get looked at here.
Yeah.
Do DRX just ask Gen.G whether they can play TF this
Mm.
time around?
mm,
Will it be Karma banned on the
Okay.
side of DRX just to make sure
What
that
do they
that
ban?
isn't going to be an option?
Karma,
And
yep.
I think that this was a good choice. Might now mean that Gen.G are going to be priced into banning TF. Because what they can get in return just may not be good enough, right? 10 seconds to go.
Yeah.
See where they go for. I mean, it might be that
the previous
G
two games
has
have been
something
close
planned, right? Like
due
maybe
to a lot
it's
of
been
their
practicing
individual play,
his,
but not necessarily their
Silas,
team
but
play.
Set is going to be banned away from Chovy. I know
I'm a bigger
technically
fan of team
there are
play
multiple
than
people in DRX
individual
that can
play, but it was still
This is a Chovy ban.
interesting. So this is why I'm here
I think you just have to
for game
go
3.
I mean,
TF here,
Yeah.
right? I don't think there's any merit to taking much else.
Yeah, I started
Twisted
writing
Fate,
it in and then was like,
Very
wait,
strong pick.
why aren't we insta-locking it?
Global pressure.
I guess
Post
there was some
6,
thought. Obviously, a
gets
lot of AD carries are
like 6
available.
minutes,
Take a look
so
at this, Camille.
Camille,
Say, we're not
super
gonna
high
give you the
priority.
duo. It's just
So it
too
doesn't get
strong,
picked
and
later.
Camille is just too strong alone.
Okay.
Been saying it now for
Then
quite a while,
Ezreal.
and we're finally seeing it here in this series.
Gen.G's been playing
Priorities
Ashe a
goes up
lot,
and
so
up
it might
and
be
up,
Ashe.
especially when you want
Yeah.
to deny it from the.
Phelios is actually open.
And they're gonna go for Ashe
and
again. So Ruler,
It's not.
his first loss, but then
Ashe is
another
actually
win
pretty good
on
into
top
a
of that
Phelios.
on his Ashe.
So there is
3 games of that. in a row.
there might be
Yeah, we'll see
the
where Deft is going to go. His Ezreal
might be a feeling
is
that they
well
need
and truly
to
available, but it looked a little bit lackluster, to be honest.
play
in,
something
the
else.
First game, as we might just have the lovers duo locked
I don't know
in by
about that.
DRX.
Is there any merit to Keria taking Galio away from Gen.G and throwing it like into
Yeah,
the
that's a good
support
point.
role? Because
Okay,
it
they actually get the
seems
lovers
like
duo.
such an obvious pick.
That's very-
It's so good against TF. It's really good with.
It's very interesting.
And
Def
Ashe
played this.
already. Obviously,
in game
Zoe is
2.
still available if he really
Wasn't
wanted to try to pop off on that
super
again, but
effective,
it just
but
seems like in this draft,
Probably
especially when you
has
take the names
a better
away,
time
Galio
into
feels
Ashe
like
than
the most
an
obvious
Aphelios
pick.
lane would.
And BDD is a fantastic
So-
Galio player, has been for a really
Sure.
long time. But he's also
Azir
a really
comes
good
out.
Azir player. And,
I don't know. This is rough.
yeah, right. Like it was banned in game 1 by DRX. This time slips through the draft as there were other priorities, namely the Karma. So BDD is going to take the Azir for himself. I do agree with you. I think that Galio did make a lot of sense.
So far,
comp-wise.
this is actually
Like if we
pretty
just take
good
the names
core.
away, and it's
Yeah.
not BDD, if it's just like your average laner, I
And
think
this
we
is
would see Galio
also
there
not really
almost all
revealing
the
much
time.
about their
But
composition.
BDD's so good on the Azir. Obviously, Azir has those 3 champions alone are really scary when the game goes along. It's going to be crazy what they're going to be able to do.
Mordekaiser
Question
is
can they
not
get
the ban that I would
Yeah,
have expected.
Actually,
I feel like
I
DRX
think
don't
Braum
really
would
want
have
it,
been a
but
really good pick. I know this is
I
something
suppose
that
that's
LS
fine.
is quite upset about. Doesn't really like Braum being prioritized, but it just ruins Xayah. She has an awful time against that champion. Can't
Tom
defend her.
Kench.
So annoying. You put that wall up the opposite direction.
I don't know
after
about
the
that.
Featherstorm as well. Your reaction time
It feels
isn't
like
quite on point.
it's
So Tom Kench going to be banned
just,
away. That is going to be the support choice into the TF.
yeah. I have no idea why they would.
Support
No,
choice
no,
into
no,
Xayah
there's
should
no
be pretty
way.
comfortably banned second as Wukong.
Unless Tom Kench has a really good
banned
matchup
here
into
for
Rakan
Gen.G.
that I'm not aware of.
Very surprised if it wasn't a Braum ban.
Maybe it's the case, but
Morgana.
then Morgana is an actually good
Okay.
duo
Morgana's
with
really good into Rakan,
Ashe.
I guess. So
and it would be very good
it
into
kinda,
this.
like, takes some of the
It would probably
power away
give
from
this
the
a hard
other
time as well.
side.
So
Braum, as you mentioned,
Like
seems
the
pretty
most
obvious.
obvious.
then Braum, super
mean,
good into
like
Zaya,
displayed it
prevents
as well.
the feathers
Yeah,
from
looked really good
doing
against,
anything.
The Zaya, so I don't see any reason why you wouldn't go for this. It's an amazing lane alongside of Ashe, which we see all the time. And it's part of the reason why Braum is coming back to 50% win rate after he was just with random selections. Now, what are going to be the picks here for the top and jungle of DRX? They're going up against Camille. Now, I do not want to see Lee Sin Renekton.
Sejuani and...
Don't want to see it. Okay,
No,
all right.
Okay, that's
And then
all
into
right.
Camille. Sure.
I can get behind that.
Do we pick away the Freljordian from the extreme CC combo that is Ashe, Braum, and Sejuani? That is my
Might
question.
not be a bad idea.
I feel like you're gonna see a
Or
lot
pick
of
something that makes picking Sejuani
topside
much
Best
movement.
you can do is Lee Sin, Alice. Best.
That's
We are going to see Lee
unfortunate.
Sin here.
There's gonna be a lot of topside
It is
movement
Koshik, and it
once
is Lee Sin.
this starts happening. In fact, it's probably gonna be topside
Love
movement
him.
regardless.
And we hate
Camille can't really avoid
That's
Yes, we
just,
do.
we have a
getting.
love-hate
In
relationship
fact,
with Lee Sin.
it'll probably be earlier.
Very close to 50% win rate at the moment is Mr. Lee Sin, but is shying a little bit above it. So technically, not awful. This was the most obvious last
so-
one ever.
Really going for the
As,
TFT
Clear is gonna go
Freljord,
into
the
Sejuani
Frost
once again. So Gen.G,
Frost Elementals.
look,
Uh,
honestly, they won the draft.
it's a lot of
But
CC,
TF
as
is
the
able
casters
to
were
meld
referring.
the field of battle.
It's
And this time, maybe Deft will have a little bit more help from the rest of his team.
this is a
You
very
have to remember
strong
that this is
defensive
Jogi
composition.
on the TF, so he
Playing
should
into
be
them
able
is
to get around this
basically
map, help out
a
the
death
rest of his
sentence,
team,
right? So this
take
guy,
some
so
control.
Pioche can't really go in.
And,
Yeah.
Gen.G's comp does
Doran
work
maybe
relatively slowly,
can.
right?
Rakan
It
has
does,
no,
and
like, all of those options
That's
are really
really
bad.
the key. You're getting to the
so
essence of it there. DRX have a comp
I
already
actually think that
can really just
Gen.G
get in your face,
have a
be
really
very
nice draft.
aggressive, throw caution to the wind, and say we're gonna make plays, we're gonna be fast and furious. Whereas Gen.G want to do the exact opposite of that. So really, I think it's gonna be about which team can force the team
I think it's
to
really
play
dependent
their style
on
of game and to their
Sejuani being able
composition
to
strengths.
defend
I think that
Camille,
DRX need to get ahead early.
because I promise you these are
Otherwise, the
like,
Rakan is gonna
they're
do
gonna be
nothing.
pushing a lot
It's
of
just gonna melt.
work
Right, the Lee Sin's
Yeah.
gonna do nothing.
into
Cannon ultimate
into
engages are going to have
the
a
top
lot
side.
less value from behind. At least they're on blue side with the cannon, which is good to see.
And Ashe
over
and
here,
Braum
it's
aren't.
like, if they can
I
slow
guess
the
they're
game
pretty
down
vulnerable.
and get to 25 minutes, I can't really see a world where this kind of crazy composition can lose.
Well, yeah, like, they have AoE CC from, like, everyone. It's just silly.
Yeah.
The amount of teamfight control that Gen.G has, if they get a front...
The way that Gen.G need to play
front-to-back
the early
teamfight
game is defensively.
ludicrous.
So they
The
need
DRX do
to
have options
mark out
to try
where
and make that
DRX
more
wanna
difficult.
go.
Their pick potential certainly through the roof. Not to mention having the
after the
Destiny
first
Gate
clear,
combo
and then
itself
prevent that
this time around.
with
Rule of
Klid's
Cantrip now
movements,
on
and
Summer
maybe
League
even
game
BDDs.
Number 3, DRX versus Gen.G.
Although I'm not entirely sure he'll have that
DRX
option.
found a victory
Twisted
in
Fate,
game number 1 on the blue side.
probably has a
He
faster
returned
clear
that
than him.
behind, but Camille was also 100% win rate for the rest of this series. So one of those things is going to have to lose. We'll see which one.
Klid has not been having a great series.
Having a crab raid there in the
So-
middle. BDD wants none of it.
Angry Bee.
I love the Angry Bee. I think it's adorable.
Angry Bee.
Klid just hasn't been having a great series,
He
so
just got the
maybe
window on the TF.
that'll be an issue.
The maybe he's lying. Maybe
Played
he's
it
not
really
actually
nicely.
angry.
But even
Just full
outside of that,
In
if we assume the game goes
middle.
similar to
And
the other
the
ones,
thing is here,
where
we were
it's very
talking
back
about
and
how
forth,
Gallagher
and
would've,
the way it kind
been
of ends up is
cutter response here. The Azir also
kills
really good
go to
in the lane up
both
against
ways.
TF, so he's got that going
Objectives
for him. And it
basically
is
at 50-50'd.
more of a lane-focused pick, obviously,
I
for
really
BDD,
favor
so
Gen.G.
I think it's obvious to all of us that BDD has been having a fantastic performance today, even if he wasn't the main. He wasn't the main actor, let's say, of games 1 and 2. He wasn't the guy we were always focusing on.
Yeah, I mean, in
But
game 1, for
he's
Gen.G,
playing-
he absolutely was,
He's
right?
playing insanely right now.
Yeah.
So I don't mind the Azir pick.
I feel so blessed, right? Like, we have 3 mid laners that are performing outstandingly well here
Oh,
in the
we're
LCK.
sinning.
It is pretty nutty. As yeah, speaking of nutty, Piochik looking for the game
Piochik
on
going
BDD.
for the level 2. I don't think it's even possible
Chovy
because of the way that
is
BDD is
going to
playing.
offer
He's
up
playing it
most
very
of his
smart.
health
He's playing it in the wave, making it
The
impossible to hit a
attempt
Q.
to
Wait.
bait BDD forward.
Extreme
Steps
patience.
up,
Does he get it?
there's the safeguard,
He
and
doesn't even get a flash.
yeah,
Yep.
wouldn't call it successful.
Sejuani is going to be 2 camps
No,
ahead.
sometimes it's the
I mean, Piochik is going to be able to
It's
make
one bubble.
up for that, but
Well, the thought and the idea is that now that that didn't work, he's behind 2 camps.
Oh dear, grand entrance working out here. Cleanse utilized as Ruler.
Wait.
He's getting taken down very,
doesn't have-
very low.
he probably
Def
doesn't have the
trying to
pullback.
walk on forward.
Yeah.
And no summoners out from Gen.G, but no cleanse now onto Def.
I never adjusted the camera.
Yeah, nice little trade down here in the bottom side. You could see that Life this time around did go for the Unsealed Spellbook up against a ranged support where he's going to have a lot less time of just auto-attacking. Pretty much none at all in this lane unless they can hard engage like they did there.
How
Taking
does...
a look at some of the
How do they
numbers
want
once
to do
again,
the
Rascal slowly building up his Camille
scuttle? It
win
looks
rate.
like Sejuani is moving down
Feeling pretty good about
to
that
the
one.
bottom scuttle.
Feels like a lot of Alchemils here in the LCK. have
Lid
pretty
just going
decent win
to...
rates.
Or not. Is Piochik...
As,
Oh
Chovy
no. Oh no. Oh no 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 no. Oh
the follow
no.
flash wasn't good. That's
He was getting excited. He must
Yeah.
be a KT fan.
Oh man, he got a little excited there.
Pushing into you, you would just take an
Oh no!
I think you
Doran's
just
going
take the
missile,
flash.
but
That's a
Lightning Rush
little...
comes in. That's a teleport from Chovy into the top lane. He's tanking up the turret. The Doran does get that last auto as Piochik comes in with a safeguard. There's a lot of summoner spells invested, but First Blood does go over to DRX.
Yeah, and for some reason it feels like BDD, he just wasted both of his summoners, kind of. He's going to eat some of this wave, obviously.
Yeah,
Even if
BDD
Life
really
is pushing,
fumbled that,
he just
actually.
sat there watching the lane and been so
Using the
far ahead
summoners
of himself.
that way, he
Trying
could have
to
just played it
spare his
so that...
teammate
Oh,
from
TF
some
flashed.
embarrassment.
Alright,
Tries to
cool.
get
I
up
can...
there, not able to get out there in
I'll
time.
just back off of
Very
this.
risky dive does
Come
pay
into
off
the wave. It's
for
fine.
DRX, which was
I
very excellently executed.
Yeah, Chovy.
feel like Rascal might have been able to outplay with his
Shove
flash.
this wave in, and BDD
Probably
did
have to see a
good
replay,
wave
I'm not
as,
entirely
Lightning
sure.
on his front door, so that tanks up the turret for the majority of the time. So BDD does get him. Sorry, Chovy does get himself a cheeky little extra back.
So I mean, Chovy ends up getting...
Magic Mantle now complete,
Uh,
going towards
he just-
those
he was just-
Merc threats as item number 1 is Deft and Carrier now down towards the bottom side. Have a cull
So
for
the thing that I said was
themselves.
that they needed to
Ruler
protect
just has
against, they
double
just
longsword. Clid making his way
fumbled
in.
on.
Piochik is in the area, but is unspotted by all of the vision around.
Lid is protecting.
DRX.
I don't think he actually wants to go for this.
And yeah, Life moving forward
No.
gives it away.
He's
quite
he's
a lot,
preventing Piochik
and they do
from
not have the wave.
walking in
Right
here and
position.
then hurling around
The Dragon gets a little bit upset as Sejuani
onto
makes
these
her way over,
targets.
but no answer to that First Blood just yet here from Gen.G either. So
So I mean, the Captain Inference gets
all comes
moved out. It's all fine.
DRX bottom side. And the Lee Sin continuing to try and find some advantages around this
If
map.
Clid was a
It's
little
not
more
got
patient, they
himself
might have
double
actually
longswords.
just
We'll
been
have
able
a
to
look at
get
this one more
Ocean
time.
Break
It was
back.
an unorthodox attempt. As, yeah, Doran missing that shuriken was a whoopsie.
You can see what they're going for here. Chovy from base is calling. He's saying, okay, I can come in. I have TP. I have yellow
I feel like if
card.
Rascal flashes when he sees the teleport,
Yeah, he's real dead.
you...
Yep.
I don't think that... Nah.
Did you hear him? I don't think I've heard that.
Maybe if he
close
plays,
up just like that here on
maybe
the
if he doesn't ever try to go into
cast.
Cannon,
Fun, but,
then
nice setup
Cannon
there,
can just
actually,
really
by
dive, so I don't
Rascal
know.
to get in with the stun. Chovy didn't have
Okay, so he ends up just doing the same thing anyway, just
So
delayed
he's
by about a minute. Fine.
disappeared as a TF does,
Um,
which is part of the reason why
So yeah, here
fun into the TF.
I was saying that if
Yep,
Clid was
Ruler
more
Life
patient, he could have just sat here and they crashed the wave in, and then they moved up to Dragon for free. The same effect. Clid just ends up getting his camps. He gets Gromp, and then he walks back to it.
By a little bit of gold, and
So
that's
it's
mostly on the top side of the map.
slightly
as Rascal's
inefficient, I
being
guess.
Abused up here.
Not even
BDD.
really.
Okay, in goes the TF, despite the fact that he knew that BDD was there.
Okay, Sejuani's mid laner is nowhere to be found, so...
Interesting. We'll see whether the Q lands as BDD
Okay, this
goes
is
for
fun.
a little bit of a wander.
And as you can see that the
Trying to zone them away from as much of this
top
farm
side
as possible.
is the big
And some
play
of the
here.
Q landed. Thought that mid
TRX.
was ahead as a plate being nicked. up here
as
we
was
have a
fairly
look at
obvious.
bottom side, and shots being taken, but
And
DragonX
Clid
simply
looks like he's
at the
trying to
losing
counter
end
jungle red. He might
of
go
this
for
situation.
Krugs here.
Look at Gen.G just standing all the
Looking
way up
for
in
level
the enemy
6 maybe,
mid-wave,
so that he
trying to
can
get themselves the best back
take these
possible.
guys out.
Clid over here, and Carrier. Oh, he has to face check.
What is
Oh
he? What?
no, he was just standing there. Battle Dance comes in, permafrost
Carrier.
down. That auto attack from
Okay.
Ruler came out of nowhere as Doran teleported bottom
That's
lane.
why did Doran just teleport?
In a
What?
very weird way.
Alright,
So
people
I
are
think
being
maybe
very
the
liberal with their
suffering
teleports right
from
now. I don't know about
At
that.
this point, whoa. Arrow.
What was that even going to achieve?
It's just circling root.
Oh, I guess he's trying to stop the back. And it's pretty nice, you know. They're not
Clid
really
is
gonna be
starting
going
up
for
the
plays onto
blue
Clones,
buff.
Flash Xayah, who's going to be level
Doesn't
6,
look like
right?
BDD
So
in any
might as
urgency
well just
to
use it to stop
go
the
for
back
it.
and
So
get more value
looks
for
like
Rascal, who's
maybe
freezing up at the
Clid
top
just
side
takes
and
it, or no, he's
desperately
just sitting there for it.
so
Okay.
I don't mind it at all.
Okay.
Let's go for it. I'll push him. And Nisa.
Yeah. Even span his mouse around in
Yeah.
celebration.
His mouse
I
is
liked it.
all over the place.
Yeah,
I don't know what
He was
his
supposed
logic.
to go into the brush.
What is the logic here?
Or,
Yeah.
maybe it was too thick of brush. He couldn't quite fit in there.
Maybe.
He's been having too much ice cream recently. And yeah, that was definitely pretty
Okay, so
confusing.
Gen.G are actually
He was
doing
waiting
really,
for the ward cooldown of the
fine
wall. Like, I'm trying to
on
think-
the
I'm trying to
bottom
think of
side,
reasons
but then
what that was, but
the top half of the map
it was
is
just,
kind
you
of
know,
feeling
they should
sad.
have expected, because the Sejuani was not visible top, that there was a chance that
Even
she
then,
would
not
be down
really.
towards the bottom side. And he wanted to get a ward down, but wasn't expecting him there on that time. So good trade back from Gen.G. Obviously, their Camille is suffering a little bit, but again, at the end of the day,
Camille's
you
actually
mentioned
moving
the
down
scale,
bottom.
the sheer amount of power
And
in
the
late game that
bottom
Gen.G's
lane is moving
composition
top
has,
side.
and
I
in
would
5
assume
minutes, they're
to be
basically
able to
even,
claim
and
the
they have
Rift
the
Herald.
first Drake. It's not half bad after all.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is exactly what Gen.G won. Pureshik unable to get anything
I think
done
Gen.G are in a
whatsoever.
good spot right here.
Clid
Uh,
moving towards his
okay.
Cinder Hulk pretty comfortably.
I don't know about
Looking
starting
to
it up
stop
without
Gen.G from
establishing
taking Shelly.
the area.
Carrier is
Feels
in
like they just
position
randomly
right now.
started it
Rascal
for
going
no
to pick
reason.
up the bottom wave as he does have teleport available. This is a way that you can
It looks like
maximize
Deft is
your
actually
gold
moving up.
gain whilst
Maybe
trying
not.
to take a Herald. The Ash can also rotate.
He's actually moving in
over,
Fog of War,
trying to
so they
get
don't
some arrows
necessarily know if
available.
he's coming.
Gen.G
So that might
decided to
scare
give up
Gen.G
on
off
Shelly for
of
the
the
minute.
Herald, or any potential
Doran
play.
have to play very, very carefully.
Alright, he's
with
back
the
in
flash
vision.
hand. It's BDD.
Uh,
With this wave that's been pushed forward. And Chovy has
it
Destiny,
looks
so
like
he can go
they
back home,
might be. No, they're
put
not.
together an
No,
army
no,
or
no, no.
two,
Twisted Fate is just
See whether he
backing
can come
to
back.
Destiny Gate
fight
for the
this
fight.
one out. Has himself a Ruby Crystal and a Blasting one now. As many battle stats
It
as
might
far as
just
the,
give it up.
makings of a Rod of Ages are concerned that he could put together at the time.
That might be the smart.
Doesn't
Yeah,
look
I mean,
like it's going to be enough here for DragonX, and they do move away from Shelly. So
okay,
Gen.G
they did the
just
thing where you dance around
absolutely
an objective
everything.
that you're not planning on actually
Despite the
going
fact
for,
that
and
the
then
farm, especially top side, is in
you just waste a whole
favor
bunch of time.
of
and you could have
DragonX.
been
Gold is
farming
going to swing
at
back.
this point.
Yeah, I mean,
Could have
Gen.G
been resetting.
comfortably.
So you're actually
taking objectives.
fine
would be
with
chances
tempo,
for
and you can
them
actually go
to,
back
you know,
and
if DRX were being a little
aggress
bit more
onto
aggressive with their composition, they maybe could have won some team fights.
an
and
enemy
taken
with
objectives,
your
but the fact
Twisted
that
Fate.
DRX are just like, yeah, sure, you can have it,
that's
is
just
a little
maybe
bit
that's just me.
worrying. I think that they should be putting on a little bit more
So the next objective is going to be
getting some more
Infernal
map
Dragon, but I
plays.
don't know
You
if
don't really want
is DRX
the
really
Destiny
willing to do
game,
anything with it. I don't think they are.
you know, just available and off cooldown for minutes at a time.
Because what's
They're
happening is
looking
Gen.G are going to
really
reset
dive,
back to
get
bottom.
some areas of the map into your
And
own
Rascal is going to
control,
reset
but the fact
back
that
to
that
top
isn't happening,
and
again, is a little
TP
bit
if he needs to.
scary for DRX. They do have the Infernal Drake coming up here in 15 seconds. We'll have to see who's really going to set up for that.
Is BDD gonna? BDD's gonna teleport in.
Rascal is not there yet.
It better be an
Yep,
amazing
one
buy.
turret
What
to
is he
be-
buying?
sorry,
What is
one
he using
plate
his teleport
was
for?
taken, as we
Lost
witnessed
chapter.
earlier.
I don't know if that's worth.
Teleport is back to the mid lane. Camille going to turn up top.
I don't know if that was
Using hers, Gen.G
100%
can start
worth
this
it.
Drake off basically as it spawns. Full information.
This is
over
good.
Here for DRX, but
Gen.G are really on top
Very
of
late to
the
this fight.
of their
Chovy
objectives
pushes
right
out
now.
mid. We'll see where the Destiny's actually
Not
going to be
necessarily
blocked here.
how
Look,
the other games
answer's
are going,
no. It's just going to be a free
or how
drag.
I've seen other LCK
Going over to
teams
Gen.G.
play. They're like really on top of
And,
it. They're like,
DRX
oh,
gotta
well,
wake up.
here's an objective.
Yeah.
We transition to
Where
that
are
side.
they?
Okay,
Like,
next
I
objective's
can
on the
see,
other side.
yes,
We transition
Rascal
to
has
the bottom
TP,
side.
Doran doesn't. They could potentially make it into a 5v4, but with Destiny Gate, you
Sure, they're losing out on
4v4 and look to pick
plates, but
someone
they're
off.
also, I mean, this is the
Maybe
scaling
try to make a pick in
composition,
the
and
top
they
lane at
feel
least,
perfectly fine.
Right? You know, go for some kind of dive,
going
zone
for
the Camille away, get her away from some farm, and she is getting punished a bit just by the cannon.
Maybe
Maybe Gen.G are assuming that's what the
how,
DRX
is
are
it
trying
really?
to do, but it's not
I wonder
really
how much
happening.
value
It's really happening on the side
the
of
dragon
DRX.
would count as.
Clid moving down towards the bottom side, and
Because you can't just put it down as the gold value of the dragon itself. You have to also consider that you're looking at soul and the position it puts you in the game. So the plates, you might be losing plates here, and Rascal's having to play as far back as humanly possible. Oh, well, they get first tower anyway, so it doesn't even matter.
Good job, guys.
There was just like no, yeah, they just didn't aggress properly onto top.
Yeah, he's got a thumb. He's got 3 of them apparently. And Doran is going to make sure that he misses this entire minion wave. And
So Rascal ends up losing that wave. He's actually super behind because of the Lee Sin and the bait putting so much pressure on him, as well as the forced transitions.
Not the end of the world. Not great news, absolutely, but okay. Ruler's in trouble. He does not have cleanse.
I don't think Ruler dies here. He has a flash. Yeah.
Ruler is using his flash, gets himself away. Arrow on cooldown as well. But not really too much invested here by DRX. Def will be able to just push this wave further forward. Blade of the Ruin King done here by Ruler. Does have his boots as well and just wants his QSS as soon as he possibly can. And that's a Slicing Maelstrom. Kyoshik trying to find this one. Great stun and flash has to be used there by Rascal to get himself out of the way. A lot of plates taken by Doran. He's going to go back home and put together a proto belt.
So finally they're doing stuff, right? They're looking for plays. They find Ruler, they get his flash. Percy goes to the top side, they're able to get
They
Rascal's
weren't, I
flash.
mean, DRX have really not been
Nothing's really
using,
sticking
as
on top
Valdez
of it.
is
I think
mentioning,
that giving away the Rift Herald
they're
to
really
beat
not
both Drakes was really confusing. I know
going
DRX
for that
really,
much.
Play around these early objectives too much. But now that it's
But I
Cloud
guess to be fair,
Soul,
the opportunities
you're like, okay,
didn't
if we really wanna try to run
really
Dragons
present
now, it's not gonna give us
themselves.
that much value. Obviously, TF can be flying around the map a little bit, but it's better for ultimates that can potentially be used twice.
There's a world where they could actually say, alright, screw the Rift Herald, and we can just use our abilities on the Camille who is down here during that play. And then they would have had position to gain vision on bottom.
TF does. I think the obvious answer is no, but can they make
and maybe some plays bottom. I'm not sure.
Along because
I'm not sure about that.
That ticks by, the team fight will.
But then it's a question of like, what else does that do for us? We lose the Herald, get a kill. Now what?
Gen.G will be winning most of these team fights, so they might just have to resort to some,
I'm not sure how DRX are planning on continuing this game. Because I can't imagine that this is a composition that's going to be losing out against this one. It's a Cloud Soul, which is unfortunate for Gen.G,
course, stopwatch can be built in the interim.
who did put extra effort into going for the dragons.
Chovy back in the mid lane, certainly able.
But you may as well just go for it, because the extra extra ultimate CDR is actually really valuable on every single one of these champions. In fact, it's actually valuable on literally everyone. So maybe it's not as unfortunate as I initially thought.
The series has been slowing down, which is
maybe it's actually insane.
Yeah. And DRX have let it get to this position.
Okay. They don't really have an end to here, but they should. Oh my gosh, that's supposed to be an arrow. They should be transitioning to the bottom side. They should be seeding the Rift Herald, saying, okay, we'll just take the dragon when it spawns.
To that area where you might want to throw it there and take down mid-tier 1.
They'll be able to, right? If you got a TF composition,
frankly, they can't really get in there. They might actually lose. They don't lose dragon. Off of no, they have priority on. Yeah, everything's fine. They're not really very confidently walking to it, but they should get it. It doesn't even seem like DRX are even aware.
Oh, misses the cannon. That was Whoopsie.
So maybe this is just a problem with DRX.
Freely given soul point. Alright.
Okay. Yeah. Well, they
T1 also has this problem, or had this problem.
Rascal has
The,
been playing
the priority, the lack of priority on Dragon is pretty
dude.
immense. Especially when it's just, there is a lot of value in getting it. There's also value in preventing them from getting these souls.
He knows that he has to be extra careful.
I mean, they're already going to have a hard time with being kited to infinity, but now they're going to get even more kited because of the Cloud Soul.
Slowly scaling anyway. Yes, the cannon obviously is going to be ahead, probably half an item, but
it doesn't matter.
Is it going to matter when we hit 30 minutes and Camille has 3 items anyway?
Well, Clid going to come down and see whether he can punish the little lightning rat. Looks like they're just going to hide off to the side.
I think they're in there.
Going to deny us some vision. There we go. The prison pops over the wall as there's the slicing mouse.
Wait.
Doran flashing on top
My
of
goodness.
BDD, but there's another member as life comes on in. Sometimes it comes at you fast.
That was actually
Doran
kind of scary
is
for
headed
BDD.
Straight to the death chamber.
Okay.
Carrier moving back to the mid lane here. A lot of pings on that outer turret as Deft is going to be able to take a red buff for himself. Chovy does have Sheen complete. Shirley does eventually hop into mid lane. So the trade is for Pikachu for the outer turret in mid lane.
Okay. This actually isn't that bad because they can defend this position easier than this forward position.
Yeah, I think that's not so bad for DRX. In terms of that, they trade Doran. I don't think Doran's...
I mean, they end up getting a kill, so it's
obviously
about even in terms of gold.
kind of
I guess more
hard
focused
situation.
in terms of the way that Gen.G got the gold, but
Yeah, we
it's
have
not
TSS already on the app.
it's not even that much of a
On top
bad
of it.
position to be in.
As, yeah, pretty
Losing their tier
straightforward.
1
You can see
mid.
that Doran, he wanted to get over the wall, try to do that damage with the Q on the BDD, but I think with just better calculations, she should have known that, especially with the shield available, BDD wasn't really going to be going down. With Merc Treads, which is a really easy decision up against this team, you'll take a look and see that 4 members have it on the side of Gen.G.
I kind of want
very
Deft to buy it.
difficult one.
Because I think that Gen.G also have
Well,
decent amount of
He got QSS instead. It's like the better version of
okay.
Merc Treads.
Yeah,
You know?
Not bad.
Mm.
Doran did a fair bit of damage there, but it wasn't enough. There were, of course, more people.
I don't know
dealing
why
damage too.
They're positioning these this vision. This is
Yoshik
not
has
a
done
legitimate objective.
Very little.
There's no way that DRX can just like
His lead
take
in,
the
his
Baron,
job
right?
is to do stuff before 20 minutes.
They need to be
Currently
looking to
has
position their
10 seconds.
vision around the Cloud Soul.
And I don't think it's going to be enough time. And in that amount of time, Baron's going to be available as well. We'll see whether they're going to be fighting around that one. 2 minutes on Cloud Soul for Gen.G. Cloud Soul denial for DRX if they're actually able to. Lich Bane is complete here for Chovy.
It's so interesting that the game is.
I don't know, Valdez.
It's
I'm really
genuinely-
worried for DRX. I just don't know what
If
their comp is going to be.
it's
able to
actually really
accomplish.
weird.
Gen.G can't do way better.
It's mostly because of
later
the
stages of
farm
this game.
difference, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
there's,
pretty sure
a moment
almost
here
all of
where
the
you
of
can
what's being
get
made up
QSS down
is
off of
on
ruler and then get back
in the
line
top lane
access and remove
for
things.
DRX.
Maybe they can win some kind of team fight there. But then on top of that, what are you really
But a
getting? You
team
would
with
get to get
3
Baron
dragons
off of a team fight
and
like
more
that to
kills,
really
2
make
more
a
kills,
big stand
being
and say like, hey, we're in the lead
basically
now.
at
If it's
1K
just the Cloud
behind
Drake and they pick off one
a
person,
team
or
is
maybe Gen.G just give it away.
really
It's
weird.
just one
With
Cloud
0
Drake.
dragons,
They could even threaten the Baron.
I
if
mean-
you look for an advantageous fight from that position.
they got 1 Rift Herald. They
around
split the
Baron.
Rift Heralds.
But for now, DRX are just pushing on.
I mean,
in,
Gen.G also
and
had
Yoshik
the
was able
early
to
Rift
steal a
Herald, which
little
means that they
bit
got
there.
plates. They got extra value from the Rift Herald.
Puppy going to be taken. Clid gets the big one though, so that's the score. Nailing it. Big health bar here on the Sejuani, going for the Warmogs as the second big item choice.
And the split pushing of Camille has slowly been coming into play here. You can see that she's actually going up against Chovy, not up against Doran, who is in the bottom side. Nobody's actually going to be down there to catch the wave unless BDD wants to go down there. But for now, it looks like they're really just trying to clear vision around the Baron and maybe just let the bottom side of the map go for now.
Yeah, looking for a potential dive onto Chovy, and Chovy uses the Destiny just to make sure that he's not going to get taken down here. Actually decides to gate his way out
So
towards this mid lane. You can
the
see
Dragon
really
is in
want to deny
12 seconds.
GEN.G from
BDD is
getting us
positioned
out of
on
lane
the
and also,
Baron.
for anything else around this map.
Very
GEN.G
interesting.
taking the bottom lane out
They're
of turret,
valuing
and,
the
Camille's getting to
Baron,
work
which
on the top
isn't
line,
really
which
a
is pretty healthy. I mean, this is Camille, so she'll
good
probably
target for
kill it within a
DRX,
couple of seconds.
more so than the Dragon,
Pings
which is
onto this
their
inner
Cloud
turret
Soul.
as
That's
now
not
Yoshi should
good
be
play.
able to lock down the Cloud Drake. But, I mean, GEN.G don't care about Cloud Soul, really. I mean, yes, they can press ultimate and go fast, but yeah. I mean, ultimately, one Cloud Drake means not a whole lot. So they do guarantee vision around the Baron.
Unless their calculation is that
and they get
if we
themselves
take
out of
the
turret in
Cloud
top lane,
Soul,
and now they're just lying in
we're
wait, 'cause
actually
they know
going to
DRX has
be,
fake
it's going to be a
as
27-minute
well, as does the Prison.
Elder.
And, look,
And 27-minute Elder
that
may
wasn't
not
the
get
face
us where we
check
want to
you
be
were
in terms of our items.
I think that's what Obi-Wan said.
Yeah, something like that.
That's actually
Rakan
more
uses
dangerous
Q into the bush that
for
they had
GEN.G
before
than
him,
it is for
but I
DRX. So
suppose
maybe the
they thought
calculation
he was
is
waiting
actually
for the
good.
Q, and they wanted to try to pick him off really quickly. And
But I mean, they
just like
positioned
that,
so much of
DRX
their
immediately gonna take a
of
ton
everything
vision
on
back, and they have taken
on
a
the
very
Baron.
small
when it was
gold
never
lead
really
from here.
a thing they could
still
take.
do have 1-3-1. I suppose that GEN.G have a bit of it too with the Azir and teleport. So,
I mean, I think GEN.G's 1-3-1's better. I think Camille's just a better 1-3-1 champion, right? Like, she can do way more damage to turrets.
I think she needs, like, she's definitely better. I think she needs, like, to complete a second item maybe.
Yeah,
just to make sure that it's like
maybe not this game. Yeah,
100%.
Let's
Like,
see.
right now, I think that Kennen does have some value, but
Kennen is actually just so
if
far
we
ahead.
get like half an item or a full
On
item,
top of the fact
I
that
think she's got
Camille
it.
went with the QSS, so he
on the
paid
game.
QSS tax,
QSS
and he was already
three
behind.
for
So
Camille, speaking of which,
there's so much lost
delayed
value
Madness Hydra by just a little bit.
on the
A lot of damage available here, and a lot of
on
CC
Camille.
coming out of good old Rakan, even Xayah, and Twisted Fate. Not to mention Kennen.
So Camille could have been a
The gold
threat,
has,
but
I feel
it's
like
not
this
really
whole
able to be
series
one.
Has been within 1,000 for like
Pretty much.
the entire time.
And nothing has really happened for like the last 5 minutes either. We've just been chilling. And I suppose waiting for Ashe, Azir,
I mean,
to scale.
Everyone,
GEN.G are
so many
fine.
people are paying the
Going
QSS
down.
tax.
Okay.
Pyoshik, okay, just does it around the world there for a moment.
I don't know if it's actually.
Q onto
I guess
the
it's
Bramble
fine.
back as, the
Really
rest of
just
the team
negating
do make their way over. They get the reset.
Doran's
A lot of extra movement speed.
damage.
The Shirelians
Actually went
gets
a
them towards
Void Staff
Lid, who throws out
fairly
the
early.
Pyoshik, hit by the arrow
Okay,
as
here's
well.
a
Teleport in here.
fight.
On the backside of the
I don't
fight,
know
Rascal decides
necessarily what
he
they're
doesn't wanna
fighting
go
over,
for
but
it.
they
Sundisk
fought.
set up here in the mid lane to act as a
They looked at
makeshift
them funny.
turret
It's
for the
fine.
moment, but I don't know how.
Now DRX are in
But,
position
DRX did manage to get
to
out without any casualties.
here on here,
They're able
and
to
they're
get out.
actually
You can see
just
now they're
doing
gonna
it.
try to force the Baron. They want to force a fight here, but double TP available for GEN.G, who are ready and willing to take a fight.
Yeah, I wouldn't take a smite off either in this game, because last game, Clid had all of them. So outer turret now going to be on the minds of GEN.G. A blue buff to be secured by Chovy in trade for that. It's absolutely not what you want. And now, Carrier backing on a ward.
So I mean, they ended up
Punished.
trading a
Rascal
like.
just pushing on the bottom side.
Look what they ended up
And
doing.
this is where
They
the game
ended up
falls
giving
apart for
position, and then
DRX.
now
Like,
they could potentially do
GEN.G
the
is able to do
Baron.
way more around the map.
Oh, he's on
And,
vision.
yeah,
They're
they just
going
got
to
out
do
of
the Baron.
position. Okay, that's a decent stopwatch, and Chovy going to get out for now.
Maybe not.
Uses everything to do so, but still does so.
Teleport is
He's
still
got TP though,
available
we'll
for
see.
Chovy.
Maybe they can try to get back into this one. There is that one ward behind the pit.
These are
Doesn't look
pretty
like
strong.
GEN.G
They
wanna
might
go
have
for it just
been able
yet.
to rush it.
I feel like when we've already been playing this safe up until this moment, no reason to try to throw it away by getting
But
a
as
Baron
Valdez
still
is
or
saying,
anything like that. They
you
have a
know,
lot of
there's
Baron
no
damage.
reason to
That
potentially
Bit by bit.
That would.
go
Yep.
for it when it might end up being
And
worse
they
for you.
tried to get it all together, but there was that one little lapse in the CC where Chovy was able to flash away.
Yep. Liked it. Back to live. Some more
I think that
fun.
GEN.G are definitely going to go for the Cloud Soul this time, though. That should definitely be their
GEN.G getting more
focus.
stats from the Ocean and the Infernal Dragon.
40
That's going to be
seconds.
putting them ahead at least statistically. item efficiency, though, out of DRX right now is gigantic. We are one more, like, recipe completion from Deft. I guess Crit Cloak as well. Then he'll have his 3 items that he's looking for. But there's a death count.
Unless they just...
Staff
They might not
this
even
guy.
care. But there's so
That's
much
a lot
good
of damage.
value
There's
in the
Leandre's, and then we're
alt
real
CDR
happy with how this cannon's positioned
for
in this
DRX.
game. And he's going
I
for
wouldn't
as
really be
much
wanting to give them
backline
much.
damage as he can possibly get.
They might be willing to give them another dragon just to delay Elder an extra 5 minutes, so that the Elder fight happens on 37 at earliest,
Yeah, we're just
or like 38.
sitting, waiting. You can see Clid gonna go in and clear out some of that vision.
And by that point,
Drake being
they'll have
taken
scaled
down
to their
by
where they
Yoshi.
want to be, and they
Gen.G
can fight
they don't
any
care about that.
fight they want.
Their only real objective is the Baron.
Well, they're gonna get onto it right here as live. Gonna get taken down
Like
very,
is
very low.
getting
Deft
hurt
avoiding
quite a
the
lot.
Winter's
Yochik
Light
actually
is now
peels
Chovy
off of the
flying
dragon.
away. Destiny has been popped, and he's gated towards this Baron.
Great ward there by Keria. Spots Rascal coming in from the side.
I don't like
And
that.
they're actually gonna back away.
You don't even
They
do
don't
anything.
want to take any risks, and now DRX have a little window here.
I love
DRX are actually in position to clear out the wards and get mid-tier 2, and they travel back for Cloud. That was such a weird choice.
He's going to be taken there in the mid lane. Rascal going
They
to
do not need to be doing that at all.
Look at all of the pings.
Rascal might be
Literally
dead.
everywhere
Rascal is in
on
fact
this
dead.
map is Rascal now.
No, he's not.
Gonna have to try to
Wait,
run.
Clid
Piotrek
is-
has
Clid
found
is,
Clid, who gets stunned
away.
up by Chovy, who does not have flash. Remember, he's got a heal.
Oh,
trying to
life
move out of the
misses
way, but
everything?
out of the way of everything, as I say it.
All right.
Now Piotrek finding a Q. BDD with his sand soldiers at the ready. They're getting corralled.
Okay.
And Chovy this time walks right into the prison.
Wait,
but the
BDD
great
just
entrance is fantastic. BDD
went
Zor's
right
at
into
the last
Rakan's
second, but Doran's gonna
loving
take him
arms.
down. The slicing maelstrom
This
is
is not good.
extraordinary. Before he does fall, of course.
Yeah,
remember,
you don't
he's
want
got
to see
a
your
nuclear explosion
you'd
cannon.
rather not
Doesn't have
you'd
any
rather your
zombies or
Azir not
anything like
run
that,
into
but
Rakan.
DRX may have just done enough damage to try and take this one down. Ruler throwing a lot of volleys in this area. Rascal does have
It
teleport.
doesn't matter. What
They're
is
gonna
happening?
try for it.
What is this?
Yeah, this is
Are they
real.
actually doing this?
Hextech ultimatum not available. Deft.
They
in their
don't have.
area, wants to be able to CC this Camille. The Baron's down extraordinarily low. They knock up Ruler. He's going to go down. Blade Caller going to secure Rascal. Running around the back of the pit. He goes golden. As now DRX trying their very best to get in here and take down the Baron. The health bars are excruciatingly low as Rascal will be taken and DRX claim the Baron.
Wait, did they move
with
the?
4 still alive.
Man, Keria just went in there in those 2 fights and said,
I swear they
"Get over
moved
here.
the-
I'm gonna
this.
win this game for my
Yeah,
team."
or maybe I'm
And see
just
Toby starts
really
it
bad
off
at,
with some happy feet. He's
positioning
like, "You're
myself.
not gonna hit me with any CC unless it's targeted." He dodges every
Around
single thing, and originally it's like, "Oh, they
Oh,
caught
hit
Toby,"
box, come
but
on.
then look at
I
this,
have
the
no
charm
idea what he
on
thought was gonna
BDD
happen.
into the immediate
Wow.
knockup, and that is why they're able to win the team fight. He even charms up Rascal in the back.
They
He
really,
takes away
like,
so
that's
much
just not
of what
necessary.
they have out of their team fight potential as a team from Gen.G.
Are DRX really gonna win this
Just
game?
like that, Rakan by himself.
I don't
is
even feel
able
like
to
they
do it.
deserve it.
And here the 2v1, or the 2v4 rather. Another great engage by Keria, just shuts him down with the flash, getting in there with the knockup.
Oh,
And
God.
Actually,
able to do
genuine
it.
question.
They corralled
They don't
him
have stats, do they?
like a moose.
They do not
In the
have
back of
stats.
the pit, there's nothing he could do whatsoever.
Watching this live. I was wondering if
Purple
there
Worm
was
gonna be taken here
stats
by
for LCK.
DRX. And now moving towards this inner turret on the bottom side of the map. And what you were saying before about DRX's comp being able to split push, well, with the Baron,
I mean, now with Baron, they're just gonna be able to take everything.
yeah.
Especially with the way that
Rascal,
Gen.G.
he doesn't have TP, but he's like, I gotta get over here.
The way that Gen.G played around that Baron was
He doesn't have anything to
so
say, right? Like,
tunneled.
That's sort of the thing that you have to accept with these types of compositions.
He only does okay if it's like a really, well, if it's a team fight that's really broken up and he can isolate a couple of members, that's really when he can have any value outside of split pushing. So you can see that
Now DRX are 5k up.
baited them into their territory. And
Still,
then you see the power of Rakan if you are literally on perfect timing with all of his abilities. And
like giving up
maybe,
the one Cloud
BDD just went
Cloud Dragon,
too
I could see
straightforward.
having
He,
some
like, took it
value.
for granted. He's like, oh, we stunned
Playing
the
to
team.
Baron
I guess
that
I can just
hard,
come in here and sweep 3 people easily,
and then
but
committing to
perhaps
fights
if he had
that
taken a
you
different angle, it would have been a little
don't
bit
really
more
want to commit to.
covert. the way he was
or
able to
very
get on there,
precarious
and Carrier wouldn't
is
have
just
been able to respond as
like you
quickly.
play risk
Either
averse and
way,
then you decide, oh well,
DragonX
screw it, we'll
outplaying
just
him in a
int.
team fight and setting everything
Like-
up for Kennen as well was really beautiful to see.
Like they got bored of
And,
playing
your
one
boy
way and
Carrier
decided to play
had one
another.
hell of a game. By the way, his debut Rakan game is this one. So that's 2 unique champions played so far this series.
Okay.
Out of the 3 games. Not bad.
Okay.
And may pick up a player of the game, much to many Chovy fans' detriment.
Well, you know who I'm voting for.
Yeah, Chovy, 100%. Right?
Well, maybe if it was LS. You can see that DRX, they're just using this Baron down to the last second.
I mean, they're getting
Using
a
the
lot of
last
value. There's
second
no way
to
that
almost
Gen.G can
all
really
of
stop
get
them.
The empowered recall, except Doran.
Unless
Yeah,
they
Doran
try to
a little
fight
bit
them,
off
and
on
that's
timing as
not
Rascal
been
down here
successful
won't get
so
it
far.
down in a turret.
I guess they could stand their
Almost got
ground.
arrowed.
They have a pretty good front
So
to
you have
back,
to
but
run all the way down the lane at the same time. And
looks
he's
like they're
actually
more.
gonna stay.
Oh no.
It's like, well, maybe I can.
Oh no.
Staying now. That's
Ooh,
where-
there's
okay.
the Destiny, as OK has to be very careful. Rascal immediately QSS's the gold card.
I don't know
so
why
gonna be
this is
caught out of
happening.
position here. And Chovy did have a Zhonya's, so...
Not sure what the logic behind that one is.
But Def now has 4 items. So the Xayah, who has been very quietly doing basically nothing,
Rascal's
is now
dead.
able to do a
Not
lot
dead.
of damage here. Rascal going to be able to get out with a hook shot before Carrier could get enough CC. Cloud Drake going to be available in a minute and a half. One thing that we didn't get to talk about was the fact that the
I'm not sure
second
how
DRX
BDD has
was
fallen
taken.
behind in farm, by the
So
way.
we might have maximum elemental dragon.
Doesn't really seem to make sense.
Whoa!
All the Cloud Drakes. That is the crown.
This
Drake
is one of those
soul
occasions where if I was watching this,
potentially coming in here.
Chovy has 6 items, PS.
this was
How did
It is
he
spellbound.
already
manage
played out,
that?
I would have gone back and I would have tried to figure out how
He's at,
he
345
managed to
CS, and he's a
have this
gambler.
divide.
And
It might
he's
be because
That's
Chovy
why.
being able
took
to
a lot of the
handle
farm
it.
during the pushes.
He's winning some
But
space,
I'm not
apparently.
entirely sure.
And
He's been hiding some aces. That's what I think he's been doing.
that's the way of the TF. Even though the Ashe has the same amount of kills and more CS, she is behind on items here.
I mean,
But
her
very
items
close.
are more expensive as well. So, you know, Chovy went to the
Yeah.
Okay.
you know, discount
The
store,
Maw of
picked up
Malmortius
a few of these.
is
She's very
interesting.
close, too. Ruler will get there.
Don't know about
probably
that.
before this next team fight.
Not gonna have a void
He
staff.
just-
Is Chovy, of course, does a lot.
he's
of
delayed
damage
significantly in her
against the Aura,
damage.
He does do. Plus, he's got a rapid fire cannon, but
By her
not
build.
exactly maximum damage potential. But he might just sell something and fire Rabadons, you know, void stuff.
Uh,
And BDD
how do you play out the rest of this game? It's got to be around Baron, right?
And he
Because-
has Morello's, which,
Yeah.
I mean,
Gen.G have already committed to Baron as their win condition. They haven't really. Maybe if it was a different dragon. I mean, if it was a different dragon, it probably would have been contested.
W2
Yeah, secondary
on
seed,
third.
when he's autoing.
Iron Will, I think is what
Yeah,
that's called.
But even if it wasn't,
Yeah.
and the game played out exactly the same,
Little bit of.
they
light
might have
sword
actually
probably in
played
the
it differently
runes.
so that they could get the
Yep.
soul, and then that would have been their win condition. But Cloud Soul isn't really its own win condition.
So, gotta make sure that he's not healing too much.
You need to have good champions with it,
If he didn't go Morello's, he would still have the.
or there has to be
penetration
some
from
value
the
in the
of course,
movement speed that you get,
1400 gold. For
which there is,
something else,
but not the way that they're playing.
needlessly large
Not the way that they're
drop.
playing.
But
Not really that
instead,
much value in
Sting had grievous wounds, so
in
we'll
that
see
if
what he
BDD
can
just goes
do.
in
I mean,
and
his
they're
role,
all trying to
yes,
aggress
the more
onto
damage, the better. But for Gen.G,
DRX.
he really needs to get a big ultimate off. As we're gonna see the cooldown
Where's he
was
going?
50 seconds. That's
Okay.
what Jonas Strong was trying to show us.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got a 50-second cooldown.
Cloud
Oh, because he has
Drakes.
three. They have
And
Chovy
three
can
Cloud
get all
Dragons.
over the map, and actually, what they want to do is put their ultimates on cooldown just for as much as possible.
Yeah.
Right. Like Def may as well Featherstorm the lane, just to maximize the amount of value out of these Cloud Drakes. This carrier, yeah, gets his bone plating taken away. Disaster. Otherwise, nothing.
It's still very
Going on.
possible that
Comes in,
when DRX commits
and,
to
another
Baron,
Nancy Ladrod
Gen.G
Doran.
can still
Why does he need
fight
that? He
them.
doesn't- well, maybe
but they need to play very
maximizing the
patiently.
amount of AP for one item slot at this point.
Much
in
more
time.
patiently than
He's
been playing.
Spellbinder.
Yeah, I mean, that's what he's going for, right? Extra movement speed plus a proto belt. That's he's going to be a speed. That's quick attack being employed.
Yeah, and we haven't had, I mean, we had that one team fight, and the Baron happened, and then DRX took everything to the, you know, there was no pressure at all from the side of Gen.G afterwards.
They're maybe getting...
Okay, stands behind Clid.
He's all good.
Beside Clid.
And, yeah. Just kind of just chilling. We're waiting for BDD to look for an
I actually have no idea why the Morello is purchased, by the way. What is he?
It's time.
Yeah,
He doesn't seem good.
He can.
Just are in
Maybe
behind
he
them
should.
and Sonya's.
That could have
Well, he
been
has.
opponents for...
He's going for
Ariel
Rojo.
looking to try and get in. Grand entrance doesn't really land, but that's a great quickness. Empress Divide used on just Carrier as Chovy's going to go golden, and the Azir is taken down. Now Rascal is QSS'd in the backline.
Okay, this actually isn't that bad for Gen.G.
But both mid laners have been traded for, and now this is a do-si-do that could get real dicey. For DRX is now the
Hexic ultimatum now. Slicing Maelstrom finally comes out, and now the game's over.
The grand entrance is extraordinary. Rascal hook-shotting himself to attempted safety, but it's not enough. And DRX, I think, they've just done it again.
They have, and it's not the first time we've seen
I don't know
a top
what happened
team
here,
just fight
but...
straight into a super fed cannon.
wow.
That's exactly what Gen.G
I feel like
did
Gen.G
there
actually
at the
threw
end.
this
They
really
went
hard.
for the 5v5. They got baited into it. DRX were able to shut them down. Dorn had the perfect timing.
Yeah, I think that
They should be able to take this game.
when BDD went in
Just for fun, onto Clid, they'll take the first Nexus
around
turret.
Baron was just,
Not really
that was
messing around
the
until he's dealt with both
game-losing
of these
play.
Nexus turrets. Clid
They were actually
going
playing
to
just
destroy,
fine,
that's
and maybe if they
delivered
rolled a
by
different
Rojo,
dragon,
Def goes golden at the end,
different
just
dragon
to
soul
show
rather,
he still had his
they
stopwatch.
play
And DRX,
differently
that
so
is
that
2
they
in a
actually
row
play for that win
for the
condition.
summer split over Gen.G.
They did it. They took a big
But
win
it was,
against Gen.G, who were a very tough opponent
It was,
today. We talked about it, how either team could win, but Gen.G were just looking so strong up.
I feel like
the
DRX
series,
are
but
so
DRX
good
proving
individually,
that they
but they
deserve
lack
their top spot, and they will retain it
super
after this
solid
series.
team play.
And there's not a lot of teams in the LCK
Like
that
forethought
can beat
and
DRX.
decision making
Apparently, only
in the way that
KT
they
has the ability.
do things. They're just kind of like, alright,
It's
we'll
like
just
the perfect
fight them.
concoction of
Or, oh, I'm around here, let me just Destiny Gate and try to kill this guy. Like, they had a good idea in the early levels, and then it just kind of fell apart, and then Gen.G threw the game, and DRX are very clearly very good catchers, so they get the win. Pretty good series, actually. Overall, good individual play. There were some decent team play. I did say that DRX aren't super great at the team play thing, but they're not awful. They're not awful. In any case,
Unfortunately,
I've been Rojo.
BDD got tired by the end. Like his Azir was not as
Bye.